You've got mail.
Huh? Mail from Obama?
Bro, you should definitely review Siege. It's a good game now.
Siege? Good?
Incredible.
Mr. President Obama, I can't, sir.
If you want free crack, you better review it.
Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know how the old saying goes. If you want the crack, listen to Barack. So on today's chopping block, we have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Sleep, a hero-like tactical first-person shooter in which you need to secure the bread with 4 other people of questionable
intellectual capacity.
Siege is a complex game, so for the sake of your sanity, let's start with the operators.
말보다는 행동이지.
Operators are like heroes from Overwatch, and there's 1, 2, 3, a whole lot of them some bitches in the game right now. And each comes with a unique ability that can help your team in numerous ways, such as creating new entry points, getting rid of electronics, violating the Geneva Convention, and even doing absolutely nothing useful.
I'm kind of retarded.
Aside from unique gadgets, operators also come in 3 different archetypes that you should take into consideration when picking the one for you. Some operators are fast as fuckboy and have tiny ass hitboxes, which makes them perfect for rushing on attack and distracting on defense. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the slow, beefy boys that are useful for holding down angles on defense because they have access to the ACOG site, which is the certified gravy, bro.
朋友是一个坚韧不拔的纪录片，在香港这座城市的设置。
Lastly, there's the 2 speed 2 armor ops for the best of both worlds. Now, assuming you picked anyone but Tachanka, we can talk about the fun stuff. Each round begins with 30 seconds of operator and spawn selection, followed by 45 seconds of prep phase, in which attackers drone out the map to find where the defenders are located and pinpointing their weaknesses, while defenders set up their defenses by reinforcing 2 walls each, setting up gadgets, creating angles, rotation holes, pre-breaking, barricading, Hey! Wake up! I know that she's hella boring, but now we can talk about my favorite part of the game. The actual gameplay. This is where all your senses come into play. Hearing, seeing, fuck it, even smelling.
Baba Bowie.
Get sniffed, bro. All combined for this unique experience that just keeps on giving. As an attacker, your goal is to plant the diffuser or kill all the defenders, which is simple enough. But that alone makes you decide on where you begin your assault. You can push from here, 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 even here, and all it takes to win a fight in Siege is 1 bullet to the head, so you have to watch out for angles and traps when you push a room. If you're hesitant, you can always whip out your drone to see if there's any reason for being a pussy. He's mad. As a defender, your goal is to stop the push. And since that can take some time, you will more often than not whip out your phone and play Raid Shadow Legends, the sponsor of this. Man, this shit ain't even funny. Who wrote this? If you die, you could get good or provide some use for your team by getting on cams and making callouts. Because what wins most fights in Siege is knowledge. If you can recognize operators based on the sound of their guns and gadgets, you'll have a much easier time making the right call. The most important bit of knowledge is maps. Knowing a map is more than just remembering where there are relatable posters or hatches. It's knowing the position of default cams that defenders can use to their advantage. And it's also knowing what's soft. On every map there are soft walls and ceilings that can be broken to create new angles, or just randomly shot through. In a game where all it takes is 1 bullet to the head, randomly spraying through such walls is a good idea, but it's a bit of a gamble. Speaking of gambles, loot boxes! Yes, they do exist in Siege, but they're not predatory. Unless there's an event going on, in which case you can just bend over with your wallet open and let UB shove their baguette in your oven to guarantee you get the skin you want. Luckily, you can buy these packs with the in-game currency known as Renown, but to get the necessary amount you would have to spend at least 60 hours grinding. If only there was a way to increase Renown gain. It's no secret by now that Ubisoft are no better than Activision or EA when it comes to monetization. You have obnoxious reminders to get the epic season pass every time you enter the operators menu, and a vast store in which you can buy everything from weapon charms to complete bundles. One thing I don't understand, however, is how Ubisoft places value on their cosmetics. You can buy a uniform for the same price of an operator?
The fuck?
You'd think monetization ends there. Oh no no no. Introducing the Battle Pass, which in my opinion is somewhat of a good thing, as it gives incentive to play the game more. That's something I really appreciate, because playing the same bomb game mode over and over again gets boring after 2 hours. Sure, there are other game modes like Hostage and Secure Area, but they're unbalanced and overall irrelevant. Still, it's pretty damn gay that you pay for the game, then you pay for a season pass, then you also pay for a battle pass to get the complete experience. Now please, allow me to introduce you to Tachanka, the worst operator in Siege, who has been absolute trash for 4 years now, which turned him into the funniest meme ever. Here, take a look. Get it? He's an awful character that is called Overpowered. There is nothing funnier than that. Why are you not laughing? Maybe this poem dedicated to him will make you laugh. Tachanka is bay, Tachanka is tight. Better run away or suffer his might. He will find you and kill you with ease. You think you can run away? Please.
Why are we still here?
Pray and get on your knees. Tachanka is god of siege. He is the pinnacle of brilliance. He simply is the almighty. The fact that someone consumed enough crack cocaine to write this heretical text baffles me. What baffles me even more is that the boys at Ubisoft found this shit funny.
Not funny. Didn't laugh.
Or they milked the retards. Either way, there's an important question that needs to be asked. How does Ubisoft allow for an operator to be absolute garbage for 4 years? You see, Ubisoft had no idea how Siege is going to play out when they made it. They still don't to some degree. They've had their fair share of operators that were beyond broken for a minimum of 6 months each before being fixed. But they're learning how the game flows as they make it, which is why ranked mode that has been in beta for 3 years finally got rid of the tag a year ago. Last thing I want to mention before I slide into the negatives is events. They're pretty much necessary for any live service game nowadays, and Siege's first event, called Outbreak, was absolutely fantastic. It offered a vastly different experience with new enemy types and maps. It was so good in fact that Ubisoft decided to turn it into its own game, which resulted in subpar events following up Outbreak, like reducing the brightness on an existing map for Halloween, or turning an existing map gay for April Fools. The most recent one, however, actually had some effort behind it, so maybe there's hope for the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Siege started out as a realistic shooter with various counter-terrorist units representing their country and unique arsenal. But nowadays it's a bit more Overwatchy. Weapons are being recycled every season, and instead of introducing a proper CTU last season, Ubisoft decided to straight up copy the Diamond Dogs from Metal Gear Solid to introduce a Wakandan operator. You already know by now that all it takes to win a fight in Siege is one bullet to the head, so you'd expect the hit reg or netcode to be consistent, right?
No.
It doesn't happen every game, but it could happen every day where you shoot someone's forehead and it won't register, or you take cover but still die. I guess that's just a flaw you have to live with when you play a competitive first-person shooter made on the fucking Assassin's Creed engine. Sounds also get a bit wonky sometimes. 99% of the time I can trust what I hear and react accordingly. But there are small instances where an enemy doesn't make any noise or the sound is just all over the place. Maybe it's something related to the maps, but take a listen.
Bro, the sound in this.
Yeah. Crazy, innit, bruv? Now, the final negative. Duplicates and alpha packs. This is haram, Goofysoft. If I happen to be retarded enough to purchase a skin from your store, there shouldn't be a possibility for me to get it from a pack. Especially when skins can be purchased for real money. All in all, Siege is a unique shooter that is extremely fun to play with friends due to its emphasis on communication and coordination. The dynamic element where the same objective could be fortified or pushed differently, and the ever-growing roster of operators keeps bringing me back to this game. I definitely recommend giving it a shot if you have friends, because there is a lot to learn when you first start out. If you don't have friends, maybe find something that won't make you regret existing. So my final score for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, click all the cool buttons and tune in next time when I...
朋友是一个坚韧不拔的纪录片。
Hell no,